Curtis A reached out to me, said make a theme song for my show. Said alright, just give me all the details, man. And my homie says he don't know. Well, if you're gonna pay me big bucks, cause I might should have something to say. He said, you know what I bring, I'm the customizing king, nothing else matters anyway. So is he gonna have guests? I don't know. Is he gonna go live? I don't know. What time will it be? What will you see? I'm pretty much in the dark, but I can guarantee you'll be customizing action figures, getting paint all on his fingers. It's art by Akerman. It's art by Akerman. Tips and tricks and conversation, sharing his gift with every nation. It's art by Akerman. Art by Akerman. You best get ready, cause now it's time for Art by Akerman.
Welcome back, folks, to another episode of How'd They Do That? This is the series where we talk to folks in the community about how they create their art. We've hit up people with, pop and swaps and painting and dios and customs and photos and everything else. And it's really just kind of, help encourage you folks to get out there and either start doing something or continue doing something. And here's the little secret before I bring the person on stage. They give these tips out for free. They don't even charge you. Isn't that ridiculous, right? Like these folks come on here, they've learned these things, like they've done this stuff for a while, right? And they've learned all these lessons, and then they just come on and share it with you. No charge. It's ridiculous. I don't know why they do it, but they keep coming. So today we have got a good friend of mine, somebody just, important. If you're on the East Coast and you've gone to a con, and you've been there way early in the morning, you're probably seeing this guy because he's out there at the front of the line, sometimes before Brett. And on top of that, he's just an amazing person and a great photographer. One of the hosts of Saturday Day Live, man of many names. We got Ryan Gonzalez, Rygon, Toygoofingonz. You can call him whatever you like. Just make sure you call him. And here he is. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm happy to be here. Can't wait to get into some tips.
There you go. There you go. I appreciate you doing it free of charge as well. So
absolutely.
Appreciate you being on. We're going to talk about some photography. You have been just on fire this year. I know, with your schedule and stuff, there's been times over the last few years where you go through periods where maybe you don't get as much photos done, and then other periods where you're just kind of like rocking and rolling, and it feels like you're in that period right now where you're making time for it. You're getting stuff out there on a regular basis, and it's paying dividends because the stuff is coming out awesome. So before we get into the actual photos themselves, any kind of thoughts on that as far as just like the schedule and getting stuff out there?
I've been working a crazy amount of hours because my job is seasonal. So I'm not getting home till late. So it's whenever I can find the time, even if usually I'm up at 4 a.m. anyway. If I'm sitting there, hey, the mood strikes. I just throw up a setup and just start taking pictures. Some work out better than others, though. So it's kind of
I definitely want to talk about, as we get into this, kind of what that looks like. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to first pull up your Instagram down here at the bottom in case people want to go to it, and then let's go ahead and get the slideshow going. Throw us down here. So I usually try to pick an image for the thumbnail that I think is really just going to kind of pull people in and kind of highlights what you're doing. And I just thought this was a really neat one, between, the use of soft goods, the figure you've got a custom head on there, the kind of outdoor scenic shot. This just was really cool photo. So this was the first one I pulled up, and let me go. Here we go. So let's start with this one. Tell us a little bit about what we got going on here.
So that was a head that I personally painted.
Oh, nice job, man. That's awesome.
In the customizing studio. I haven't been in there for a little while, but I was popping in for a little bit. And obviously the cape is a Darla Akerman cape. Get you one of those.
There you go.
But when I threw it on, it's on a snag body, I threw
Mhm.
it on there. It just screamed heroic character, and I just wanted to do an outdoors shot instead of I do mostly castle dungeon type shots, darker.
Mhm.
This was I wouldn't say the first time, but when I actually filled out the environment, I had bought a bunch of the fake trees on Amazon. I wanted to give them a go, so this was the
Mhm.
first shot I took with those. And that is I believe I got that image on Adobe Firefly. So one of the very few times that I've worked with the TV as a background.
It came out fantastic. I mean, I know I've tried
Appreciate
to
it.
do that before, and I've had issues with like glare on the TV
Yeah.
and stuff. And I know Trevor, when we had him on, he was saying, you got to make sure you're backlighting it and not having the light going towards the screen and that kind of thing. But he also really talked about it's important to frame the shot and make sure that
Mhm.
like don't worry about all the other stuff going on, but what is the camera going to see? And like in this one shot, like you've got some trees, you got some greenery, you've got these rocks and stuff, but the character itself is really forefront and center. And then I know several photographers we've had on really talk about kind of that rule of three, where you kind of divide the photo into three parts and where those lines are, which kind of is like right where his head and beak is, because you've got it at an angle. Like that's where your eye goes immediately. So, like the way that you've got it framed up, the way that it's angled, like it just pulls you in right away, and you go right to that face, and you see this like, the mask, and he has this like fierceness about him, right? And like you just get pulled into that right away, which I think is super cool.
Thank you. So, especially, I don't know all the technical terms.
Hmm.
I can tell you my process, but I can't tell you what the technique is. So that's why I reach out to plenty of other great photographers in this community. So Nate Strong actually told me a better usage of the TV background.
Hmm.
Yeah, not only that, but Trevor with the I believe it's called cinefoil. You can
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
put it on the lights, take out the glare so there's nothing on the TV screen, but also a UV filter, I believe it's or a polarizing filter is what it's called.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can actually adjust on the filter itself the brightness of the TV screen. So
Oh,
you can
okay.
actually completely wash it out, or you can make it just black as night. So,
Gotcha. That's interesting.
yeah.
Okay. Didn't even know that. That's a cool little tip. Um, so yeah, this is an awesome one, and we've got quite a few to go through. So um this one, I just think this is so fun. Um, like, many a Christmas morning, I spent, with my brother, my sister, downstairs waiting for parents to come down, and like this just kind of screams of that like Christmas morning, like dude's getting a noogie, you know,
Yeah.
it's just it's such a just a cool setup. I love everything that's around the, like you got the tree, you've got some presents and stuff, the staircase. Yeah, I think this just came out fantastic. So tell us a little bit about this one.
So for a while, I was doing the Christmas shots with the mezcos.
Hmm.
I just wanted it to be kind of like a cheerful, more playful thing. Because again, I tend to lean to like the darker stuff.
Hmm.
But I just imagined Gomez having cousin Eddie being too drunk, giving him the noogie, being like, "Yo, you got to calm that shit down, man."
That's awesome. And they're great figures, those mezcos. Like they just photograph so well. I've seen a lot of people that will like get those like the Gomez bodies and stuff like that, and then pop different heads on them and make characters out of them and stuff. But like if you just even if bugs aren't your thing or whatever, like you look at the bodies and the soft goods and stuff, and it's like, man, they do such a great job. And then when you get them into a pose and do a photo, it looks so realistic.
Oh yeah, especially with the light up eyes. I think that's what sold it for me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a
for
sucker
sure.
for the light up features.
Yeah, this looks awesome. And man, that crash box stare dio. gosh, I would listen. Like I would love one of those. Like I've talked to Chris Pinkerton who runs Crashbox Customs. I'm like, man, are you guys ever going to do the stairs again? He's like, no, I don't think so. I think he said that his wife painted those and it was just like a beast. And she just, yeah. So, man, but I love that staircase dio. It's so good. Spoiler alert, people, you may see this dio again in another photo later on. Just FYI.
And that was actually the Virtual Legions Con exclusive that he had. I think he only made.
It's a small amount. I know of a few people out there, but and it's like every now and then I'll see it pop up in your photography, but I don't know of any other photographers out there that I've seen do stuff with it. Like I know there's a few of them out there, like the dios, but I don't see anybody photographing with it besides you. So I think it's cool getting these shots from you. So
yeah, thanks.
All right. Listen, you and I both know DC Superman Returns, like this Mafex line is where it's at right here. You know, they don't put stuff out on a crazy schedule to where you're getting, 40 figures a year or whatever. Like it's, you may get 1 or 2 figures a year, but the 1 or 2 figures you get are absolute fire. And whenever I get a new one in hand, I'm like waiting to see what your picture is on it. Because like I'm like trying to figure out how am I going to have it on my shelf. I'm like, well, let's see what Ryan does first, So we've got Steel here, we got Superboy, and I mean, first off, the figures are great, but also the poses and everything you've got them in feels like it's ripped out right out of the comic books. So tell us a little bit about these two.
So for Steel, the fog at the bottom, I wanted it to feel like a comic book, because you know how when they have like the jets on their boots, they take off, they have that cloud of smoke that hits. I wanted it to feel like that, like he was kind of lifting off the ground. And then I wanted to kind of, for the lighting and at least the backlighting, I wanted red and blue, because when I picture any type of Superman character, even if it's not Superman itself, it's just red and blue for me. And that's kind of what I did with the Superboy. But for Steel, I just felt like he was such a stoic character. And when they brought him in, I instantly fell in love just because of the suit. And no, I do not like the Shaquille O'Neal Steel. He doesn't exist.
A couple things I think are awesome on this Steel one. Number one, I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some of these pieces that you have there behind him kind of used as like walls are actually floor pieces from Crashbox Customs, right?
No, they are walls. They're I just turned them. Yeah. So gotcha. I didn't want to steal anybody's stuff, but I saw The Amazing do these. He just took those wall pieces and turned them on the side. It gives it a whole different feel.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I tagged him, and in that post I said, hey, I stole this from The Amazing. And he was like, by all means.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The other thing that I wanted to call out on this, that figure, sometimes it's hard to see. I've seen people that have done other photography with this figure and stuff, and it's hard to see, but in that kind of metallic coloring that he's got on him, it does have this like tint of blue, right? It's got like this like light blue metallic color to it. And in a lot of photos that I've seen other people do, you can't really tell that. Like it just looks silver. I think the fact that you added that like blue light coming in from the side there really helps to like show off the blue tint of the metallic on this Steel, which is one of my favorite parts of that figure. Like it's just such a beautiful color. And yeah, just done a really good job here of getting that in there.
And I will say bounce cards help, actually, in my opinion, they help not, because if you have the light directly on whatever you're shooting, it kind of, if you're not using a diffuser, it kind of takes away a lot of, I guess, the detail. But the bounce light helps mellow that light out. So that's probably why you're seeing a lot of the bluish hue of the armor.
Now I know what a bounce card is because I've had a few other folks on here as far as, shooting it. Basically kind of a white card, could be an index card, could be, piece of poster board, whatever, that you're kind of reflecting the light back on towards the figure so it's not directly shooting at it. I don't know what a diffuser is. So you're going to have to break that one down for me.
So it's like so if I use a cube light, which is
Mhm.
I use quite frequently, if I use a cube light, it is actually almost like this silicone cover that goes over the light itself,
Gotcha. Okay.
and it kind of, again, it mellows that light out. So you could use a bounce guard and a diffuser, and you would probably get an even better, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but you would get a better photo.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the Superboy here, like I love the pose, number one. Like it's just it's so you know there's certain toy lines where you talk to folks. We're both Mythic Legion fans, right? And there's certain toy lines like that where you say, hey, I don't need this thing to pose like Spider-Man, right? But sometimes you do want something that poses kind of like Spider-Man. For instance,
Mhm.
if you get a Spider-Man, right? Like Mayfix Spider-Man are
Yes.
like the best because they move like butter and you can get them in crazy poses. And I think you've kind of got that same thing going on here. And I don't know, like, one cool thing about toy photography for me is like looking at the picture and trying to imagine like what's going on here, like what is the story, what's happening and stuff. And to me, like I look at this and I go, like something's going on. Maybe there's a big character that's like acting all tough and shit, and Superboy just kind of giving him like this little smirk, and he's just getting ready to like punch the ground and like send shockwaves or whatever. Like that's kind of what I've got going on in my head. Maybe totally different from what you intended with the picture, but I think that's what the cool part about toy photography is. Like you can think about it and kind of create your own story, and it just pops out for you. And that's what I saw when I looked at this, and I'm like, man, this is just super cool. So, but tell us, like, what are your thoughts as you actually put this together?
So it is kind of him coming in, and there is like a big bad, but I wanted him kind of pointing at himself with or yeah. So like,
Gotcha.
don't call me Superboy because somebody said like it turned
Yeah.
around, they said Superboy.
Yeah.
So
He kept
he
saying in
landed,
the comics,
yeah,
he's like Superman. Yeah. Okay, kid.
and then he's got the smirk. He's like, I'm gonna kick your ass for saying that I'm Superboy.
Yeah.
That's
It's such a great figure. I hadn't bought anything before this one that had the kind of leather goods. I know some people were talking, they had bought some stuff from Mezco and some other brands that it started like breaking down and stuff. So I was kind of nervous about that when I ordered this. But dude, that jacket is fantastic. And the fact that you've got like the belt that goes around it and stuff is all wired so you can get it into a, nice little kind of movement pose. Such a good figure and an amazing shot here. So
thank you.
very cool.
Yeah.
Next, to continue kind of a DC theme, I think this is the last DC one though. But so you've got this crash box dio setup, which I've seen a million times, but I've not just from you, but like it's just a great crash box dio in general that I've seen people use. I've never seen anybody have it to where it looks like somebody's manually like ripping the door open, right? Like I
Yeah.
thought that was brilliant on this. When I looked through, I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And the fact that it's Bane and you've got like that green lighting behind him, because he's always has this like, I don't know, acidic, poisony venom stuff that he's pumping through his veins and stuff. And it's always kind of like lit up like neon green in the comics and stuff. So you got that like green backlight. He's prying open the door and Batman turns and it's almost like this, oh shit moment. Right.
Yeah.
I just thought this was brilliant. So yeah, tell us a little bit about this one.
So I appreciate you saying that it's brilliant because I absolutely hate this picture. When I
Really?
it was when I was still figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
You can see over on the right-hand corner, that is my light.
Oh
In
shoot.
Blair. Yeah,
Okay.
that is the light, and it was before I figured out angles and actually positioning, and before I became a better poser.
Mhm.
Uh, but that was the intended goal, to make him seem like he was forcing the doors open, and Batman like, oh damn it, now he's gonna ruin the Batcave
Yeah. Yeah.
because he found me. But I'm glad you brought this up, because now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna rework this shot and I'm gonna make it better.
That's awesome, man. So I know on these, I can't remember what the name of this one was, this Crashbox one, but I know
The
you could get,
complex.
what's it called? The complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you could get like letters and numbers and stuff on it, right? What do you have on yours?
I didn't get any. I just did the generic ones
Oh,
because,
okay.
yeah, I just wanted them as soon as possible. I didn't know how much
Gotcha.
longer that would add.
Gotcha. I know that like Jeremy on his, he did LBC, which a lot of people call him Lazy
Yeah.
Boy Customs, which I thought was funny. So I was like, I wonder what Rygon put on his. So
No, yeah.
gotcha. Okay. All right. Listen. Sometimes so we do a lot of photos on our Shooting the Shelf show on Sundays, me and Jesse. We do the shelf selections. And a lot of times we're looking at like stuff that we're like, oh man, this is brilliant. And I love how they did this. And they made it so realistic and it looks like it came from a movie. And then there's other times we pull up a picture and we're like, this is just fun. Like this is just a fun photo and it makes me happy. It makes me smile. These, I've struggled a lot over the last year or two with, there's so many cool toys out there. There's so much cool stuff that you would go completely broke and run out of space if you bought it all. So I've had to come to terms with something can be awesome and I can appreciate it without having to own it. Right.
Yeah.
And these Battletoads are one of those where it's like, I love it. I think it's cool. I don't have to own it. But then you look at a picture like this and you're like, well, maybe I can get one or two, like which is so cool. But I love the flexing poses here. I love the facial expressions. This is just a fun shot. So yeah, tell me a little bit about this one.
Well, you got to have fun with your toys. And that's exactly what I was doing, because Battletoads itself, it was already a ridiculous game.
Yeah.
You got toads literally in outer space. It's like, how the hell are they going to breathe? Come on.
I love when they would like attack and
yeah.
they go to kick something and all of a sudden their foot gets like huge and like there's no rhyme or reason to why it's happening. It's like, it just is, it's fun. So
and I just wanted them flexing. And say what you will about Premium DNA. I loved Battletoads when I was a kid. So I wanted these characters. I didn't want them all, but at least these two I wanted. So
yeah,
as soon as I got them, I was like, all right, well, they're going to be flexing on the haters, I guess, as the kids would say.
Well, for Premium DNA or any other companies out there watching, I know a lot of times when you do your own like toy photography, the goal is to try to sell your toys, right? This sells your toy. So I'm just letting you know, for anybody watching, hit up Rygon because his pictures sell toys. So there you go. See if we can't get them to throw some work your way. Now we talk epic shots, right? Like these two for me, they're very important characters in the Mythic Legions line. You've got Attila here. You've got Alethea herself. One looks very sinister. The Alethea, like it just like you don't want to mess with this chick, right? You're coming from an angle down lower. You've got that really kind of more dark blue coming in from the side. And then you go over to the Attila, and he is, kind of walking down this hallway with purpose, like he is getting ready to go into battle. You've got this, kind of lighter blue light coming in from behind him. And it's just such a heroic, like hopeful shot. So these two, both using blue lighting, create two completely different feels to it. So yeah, if you could talk just a little bit about these.
So Alethea, she's one of the Dark Four. She's one of the big bad. You got to make, for me anyway, that behind her is an actual throne that I bought. I wanted to make it look like she was kind of standing up to get ready to say, go out, wreak havoc, and just cause as much destruction as possible. So, and then I kind of wanted the counterpart for Attila. I know with all the factions and the lore and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But I wanted to make it seem like it was a dire situation. So he knows he's got to get his hands dirty. It's time
Mhm.
for action. He's fully ready to go. He's walking down. Boom. Cue the superhero music. It's time to fight him off.
Which is what you want, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
want a leader that is kind of leading from the sidelines and
Mhm.
shouting out orders and stuff. Like you want this guy on the right. Like this is the guy that you need to inspire you and your brethren to go into battle. Like he is all about business right here. And it's like, like you said, he's not above getting his hands dirty. I think these two are both great shots. The most impressive thing about either of these, though, is the fact that you have him in a walking pose holding that heavy ass hammer that wants to fall out of his hand and wants to pull him over. And somehow you got this shot with him holding that heavy hammer to the side in a walking pose. So that to me is the most impressive thing about this whole thing.
Dude, and we talked about this on Saturday Day Live. It is an absolute pain to get these guys to balance sometimes because I had him. I would be
Mhm.
ready to take the picture because I use my phone
Mhm.
for remote photography. As soon as I go to turn, boom. All right, well, here's another 5 minutes. It's you have to
Well,
have patience.
and I know a lot of toy photographers will use like a stand or something, and then they'll use Photoshop to take it out later. And you don't do any of that, correct?
No, so I've actually tried Photoshop. It's
Mhm.
not the most user friendly, and I've watched hours of videos on YouTube. I just can't seem to get it to work how I
Mhm.
want it to work. So I've just stuck with practicals.
Which
Like if I can't,
also is
yeah.
something cool about it too, right? Like what like people know when they look at your shots, like this is something you could actually do. Like you could set these up. Like you're doing these without any kind of magic or anything like that. Like this is just like
Mhm.
you're able to do this, which I think is impressive.
Yes, I don't know if you have some of the pictures, but like Carver Custom
Mhm.
torches, I don't know how to add that flame effect, so I kind of trick your eyes into thinking it's the same thing, but I'm using cube lights.
Yeah, I mean, like even like this light that's coming in from the window here, right? Like you
Mhm.
got the smoke behind it, and it's kind of flaring out. I've definitely seen some photographers that are like adding some of that enhancement and making that happen after the fact. It's like if you look at their behind the scenes, that kind of flare with the blue light and stuff is not actually in the actual shot. Like they're adding that post production. All of this is just it's happening. Like this is like what you're seeing behind the camera is what we're seeing on the other end, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
It If you work with fog, just know that you gotta be patient. It's not gonna do exactly what you want. That's why you just need to keep taking pictures, snapping it, 'cause it eventually will hit that point where it is to your liking.
So, question on that: are you freehanding it with when you're taking the photos, or do you have a tripod that you're using?
I used to freehand it, and then I found that a lot of the quality of the picture suffered, so I switched
Gotcha.
over to tripod. It's just personal preference at that point, so I
Yeah,
prefer the
I've seen both
tripod.
ways as I've talked to folks on here,
Yeah.
so I was just wondering. Very cool. Let's see. Next. So another couple great shots, a couple great figures too. I love like the whole presence of the one here on the left. You got the eyes, you got the kind of lit up on the throne behind the throne behind him. And then this headhunter still in the running for my favorite figure of the year. Like I love this figure so much. Once again, in a very kind of call to action pose. And you see those Carver lights that you were just kind of talking about behind him, which, I've been told that it's against the law to do toy photography without having Carver custom lights in there. So,
Oh, it definitely is.
so yeah, tell us a little bit about these two photos.
So that is the Death Dealer Frazetta. We all know that Curtis loves Frazetta.
Very much.
Um, I wanted it to just be a more menacing photo. because him holding that decapitated, I guess it would be a ogre or an orc, I mean, and the blue, that's really all I wanted in that, just to kind of make it sinister. Looking at it now, I wish I would have done a few things different. Again, I was still figuring stuff out, but the one on the right, it's more honed in. You can see that it's a little clearer. Obviously, that death dealer shot was before I actually did post. So a lot of the images that I posted early on were just raw photos. I didn't do any editing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think the death dealer one, because of the angle of the shot, because of the light up eyes, like it's just very intimidating. Like it's a very fierce, intimidating shot, right? Which I think, there's not a huge dynamic pose or some weird lighting or fog or all this kind of stuff going on. There's not all this kind of crazy stuff, but it's just intimidating based on the angle and based on the light up eyes. And I think it's great. The headhunter one, once again, you got that kind of, call to action pose. You've got the lanterns in the background. And then I love the movement that you got on the cape, right? To where it's not, it feels like it's naturally kind of moving as he's walking forward. Yeah, just really great pose there on the cape as well.
Yeah. So I wanted it to kind of feel like the doors burst open. There's a huge gust of wind and he's walking out. That's kind of what I was going for.
Very cool. Love it.
All of that is crash.
And it kind of goes aligned too with the like the smoke effects coming off of him, because those are going backwards and then the cape is going backwards. So it like all really flows together. So awesome. All right. So here I wanted to highlight how you highlight customs and custom work in the community, because I think that's important as well for toy photographers. I know Nate does a really good job of this. Trevor, not as much because he's spending so much time photographing for toy companies. So he doesn't get as much of a chance to photograph customs, but I know Nate does it a lot, where he buys a part from somebody, a head or a full custom, and then he has an idea for how he wants to like bring it to life in a photo. And here too, I believe Jesse painted the one on the left. Is that right? The head. And then this custom is one that I did on the right. And, I don't bring these up to highlight myself or Jesse or whatever, but I just think it's cool how, you have an ability as well, with the Mezcos of the world and the Battletoads and the Mafexes and stuff, to also take creations that somebody else did and just make them look the best way possible, right? So that, as an artist, as somebody that like works on something like this, you see somebody do some photography of something that you created, and it's like, oh my gosh, I never thought it could look this epic, right? And these are two shots that I think absolutely do that. I know I've talked to Jesse about the one on the left, and then clearly I know how I feel about the one on the right. But yeah, tell us a little bit about like the difference between just a factory piece or like highlighting somebody else's art. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
So for the one on the left, I can take liberties with that because it was just, obviously the head sculpt is beautifully painted. I just pop the head on there. I can move the body however I want. But then for your piece, the one on the right, I have to take a little extra care. I don't want paint rub. I don't want things to fall over because I'm worried that I'm going to break every single feather on that helmet.
Yeah, it's a very we'll say delicate piece. Say that. Yeah.
So you just have to be a little more careful, because there was one time actually where the Blue Falcon leaned and it looked like he was going, and I was able to catch it. And I was like, if I would have broke down in tears, because it was going to fall off the table. But
so what about like your thought process of how the scene, like what scenery, like clearly you chose like this kind of space vibe with this character on the left, where he's like the doors open, he's coming through, he's just guns ablaze and like almost like a space cowboy or something. And then the one on the right, you chose this kind of outdoor, very heroic looking, kind of floating in midair, kind of looking out over the, whatever. So tell us a little bit about like your thought process of what scenes to put around these characters.
So the one on the left, I pictured him being exactly like you said, a space cowboy. He's just coming in. Somebody wronged him. Can't let that stand. Doors open. Bang, boom, boom, boom. Everybody's dead.
Yeah.
And I picture under like that, all the black and the stuff. I picture that being a face mask or some type of respirator.
Gotcha.
Because he's just deformed. But for the Blue Falcon, he just screamed heroic.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of wanted him floating. I do have him on a flight stand, but I had to crop it because I couldn't quite hide the whole thing.
Gotcha.
I picture him floating over Mythos, just making sure everybody is well taken care of. If there's trouble, he's going to swoop in and save the day.
Very cool. So much like I called out to the companies earlier and said, if you want to sell your toys, you need to talk to Rygon so he can take your pictures because it'll sell toys. I would call out now to any customizers in the community. If you want your stuff to look the best way possible, get in touch with Ryan. Give him one of your painted pieces because he's going to make it look more epic than you ever thought possible. So you do a good job. All right. Now, we got to get back to a little mythos here. I think, we've been waiting for like wizards and sorcery and stuff in mythos for a while. This guy, I think, is one of the best characters we could have gotten. I love that screaming face that he's got, the big, open mouth face. The spell effects are cool. The lighting that you've used in the background, and you've even got the way that you've got the fog rolling in. It almost looks like he's like summoning a spell that's like swirling, like smoke around him as he's, summoning this spell. So yeah, tell us about what's going on in this photo.
I wanted it to have a feel. I just wanted you to feel the rage. So he's summoning, he's using dark magic. And I wanted the fog to kind of have that swirl effect. Like it's like you said, he's summoning something, but I also wanted kind of like, yes, the rage, but also the pain. So I think that's conveyed well enough in this photo. And
yeah,
is a Crashbox Dio back there. I know I blurred the background, but yeah, I just pictured him being like a tortured soul. So he had no other choice but to turn to dark arts.
Well, and as far as like the Crashbox Dio, obviously we've seen a few different Crashbox pieces, which it seems like you have a lot of Crashbox stuff, which is cool because like it's great stuff, right?
Yeah.
We've obviously seen the Carver torches and whatnot. As far as like when you're actually going to set up a shot and stuff, how do you have like all of your dios and like dio accessory pieces like the rocks and the trees and all that kind of stuff? Like, how do you have that organized? And before you go and do a picture, like, do you know in your head, I'm going to use this dio and these pieces, or is it really kind of like an experience where you're going and looking through all your stuff and saying, maybe I'll use this, maybe I'll use that? Like, how does that all come together as far as the backgrounds and everything?
Oh, I use like 4 or 5 different setups for a shot. So if I kind of set up the scenery, and if I'm like, it's not working out, I tear it all down, put it all back, and then set up something new. And then I kind of mix and match until I find that it suits what I'm trying to convey.
So do you have like, as far as like your extra dios and dio pieces and stuff, like, do you have like shelves for it to where it's kind of like, when you say put it back, like what does that look like?
So all of my Crashbox pieces are organized, and I can turn. I know exactly what's where. I don't even have to look anymore. I can just grab it. Everything else is in shambles. So if I need to use other pieces, it's kind of time consuming.
Gotcha. Totally makes sense. Okay. Now this guy, I've only got like 10 of these sitting right next to me. I haven't. I've had it for what is it, about like 3-4 months now, and I haven't opened it yet because I won't let myself open a figure until I'm ready to review it, and I just haven't been ready to review this yet because I've had so much other stuff I've been doing, and I really kind of saving some of my better ones for last. Like here are the three from that I haven't done yet that are kind of I got Necronominus I haven't done. That's a big one. I got Gideon, and then I've got this guy. Right. So it's like I definitely need to get on board. But I've been so waiting to get this one open and kind of play with it. It's such a great figure, so many parts. The soft goods are fantastic. I know you're a huge Mezco fan. I feel like the soft goods on Mythic Legions over the past year or two have really ramped up to where they're competing with anybody in the soft good game. Like there's, CJ's doing some awesome stuff, CJ and Keithlin. And so, yeah, the figure itself looks fantastic. Obviously, you got that crash box piece behind them with kind of the gated look there. And then you got to have the Carver lights because it's the law. So, yeah, tell us a little bit about setting up this shot here.
So for this one, how he's looked, he's in a kind of a faux battle pose, kind of like I'm just going to assume it's skeletons. They breached the defenses. They're in the castle. He's got to hold down the fort. So I know for this one, I thought the Great was good. Kind of like he just got it down before the entire force came in. He turned around. He's ready to go to battle now.
Yeah, it feels like whatever's on the other side of that gate is what he's protecting. And so he's not charging towards the danger. He is very much guarding whatever this is behind him. And so he's in that, like you said, kind of battle ready pose rather than battle action pose. Right. And it's like, and you don't see anybody else with him. So it kind of feels like this is the last line of defense, right? Like this is it. Like, whether it's other people are sleeping or they're out on a mission or whatever's going on, like he's all that stands between whatever's coming and whatever he's protecting behind him. And just very cool shot.
Yeah. And open the figure, Curtis. Open it up.
I will. I would definitely do that. All right. Next. So a couple here that I thought were awesome. The snag, and I had to crop them to fit on the screen. I know there's more to that snag photo, folks. There's another Carver light in there. There are two, I swear. But the snag photo I thought is amazing. I know we just talked about that on Saturday Day Live, and we did it as a shelf selection. But just that character story, the fact that he's like this just sneaky little thief, and you've got that bag on his shoulder, and he's almost in this like crouch down running pose to where it feels like he's giggling as he's like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it kind of feels like he's kind of like snickering and giggling as he's getting away with whatever he's carrying. And then on the right here, there was a couple different figure obscura shots that I could have chose. I had it down between this and a Red Death one that looked really awesome as well. But I think that's a whole different dynamic where, with the snags, with these other characters, it's, you kind of do what you want based on the bio and the lore and stuff. But with figure obscura, you may have people that see it, that recognize it, that don't collect these toy lines, right? That don't know, anything about Mythic Legion or Four Horsemen, but they know A Christmas Carol. They know, Jacob Marley. And so I think there's a little bit different kind of assignment when it comes to that, as far as like, how do you be true to the story and the lore and really bring this character to life in the way that it should. So yeah, tell us a little bit about these two, the snag with kind of holding true to his bio of this little thief, and then the Jacob Marley and kind of like bringing all of those Christmas Carol stories to life.
So for snag, I always had, when I got the reissue, because I don't think I have the first release.
Mm.
I had that image in my head for so long, and I tried to get it out, but get I couldn't quite get the running pose down, and then I
Mhm.
came back to it. So I ended up with this, and I'm very happy with that because I kind of made it so you can only see half his face. And
Mhm.
yes, he does have that sinister smile where he's like giggling and the forward motion because he just robbed them blind.
Mhm. And he even has like this kind of crouch down, like he's hiding but moving quickly and also
Mhm.
kind of happy with himself. There's just a lot of emotion in that shot. So
Yeah. And then
very
for the
cool.
Jacob Marley, I wanted kind of like when he's holding his hand up, in my head, I just pictured him screaming, "Why?" Kind of
Mm.
like he just came into Scrooge's bedroom
Mhm.
and Scrooge is scared shitless because he doesn't know what the hell's happening.
Yeah. The, it's so good. I love the lighting coming in from the windows. Obviously, it's the law. You got to have the crash box lights in there. And even just the use, the kind of, sometimes you want the fog to be real subtle and stuff.
Mm.
Like it's really just kind of create an atmosphere, right? But then sometimes you want it to be thick. You want it to be heavy. And in the case of Jacob Marley, because he is a ghost, like I think it makes sense for this to be like this really thick kind of rolling fog surrounding him. You did a real good job of kind of surrounding him with that.
So I don't know if you noticed, I tried to make it seem like the fog was rolling in from the windows because if
Mm,
you look really hard, it's coming, but it started to dissipate a little too fast, so I kinda had to do it and then quick snap the photo, but that's
gotcha.
kinda what I was going for.
Yeah, it's just a great look, and I think the reason why I wanted to pair these together is because I felt like both of them conveyed a lot of emotion. The one with the Snag just being very happy with himself, just
Yeah.
he's just a little shit. And then with Jacob Marley, the pain and the like he cares for Scrooge, right? Like he's trying to warn Scrooge, but at the same time he is being tormented and just living
Mhm.
this terrible existence in the afterlife. And so he's in pain and he's trying to convey this message to his friend to change his ways before he ends up like him. And there's just, like I said, so much in the hand pose, in the way that he's looking up like towards Scrooge. Like there's just so much emotion there. So awesome job.
Thank you.
And then last photo, and I knew right away this was going to have to be the last photo because this may be one of my favorite photos from anybody ever. Um, is this one here? And
Oh, we're going back.
I freaking love this thing. Like this photo is so good. I think this is where I first saw your work and was like, oh shit, like Ryan's for real. Like this isn't just like me taking shots or somebody that's just kind of having fun with this. Like this dude's fucking for real. And so once again got that staircase dial that I said might come back earlier, and here it is. You got Valak coming down the stairs, and that pose from Dubon, and not only the pose, but the fact that his cloak and armor and stuff mixes in so well with that wall to where he's very camouflaged to where when you first look at this photo, you may not even see Dubon. Like he looks like he blends in with everything around him. And he is very much like hidden in the shadows, waiting to attack. He's got that blade drawn. I just love this shot so much. I think this is one of my favorite photos from anybody at any point in time on any toy line. It is just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, tell us a little bit about this one.
So, the what I was going for was kind of Dubon was on a recon mission to find
Mm-hmm,
out anything he could, and
mm-hmm,
while he was scouting the castle, Valak was coming down the stairs, so he kinda had to hide.
mm-hmm,
He wasn't ready to do battle, that's why he's got the blade up there like that.
mm-hmm.
Not He's just gonna let him walk by and then continue with his mission and get the hell out of there.
But he's got to
So
be prepared in case it
yeah,
does go down. Yeah.
so he's ready for battle, but he doesn't want it to happen.
And I think the fact that his colors mix in so well with that wall behind him really fits that kind of recon vibe that he is. He's in there very sneakily, very stealthily, trying to get through without being noticed. And you could easily see where somebody could potentially walk by there and not even notice him. So yeah,
that's it.
So good, man.
The attention to detail for those Crashbox customs, man. Get you a Crashbox custom.
Listen, I'm gonna tell people this right now. Crashbox customs aren't the cheapest thing in the world. Okay, there's a price. Okay, but it is worth it. It is those things, they photograph so well and create so much just extra to your shots and stuff. Even just having them on display. I think I've got. Do I have one behind? No, I think I've moved them upstairs. But like they work well like in your DTOFs. If you just want to have like something like with your figures in front of it and stuff, just kind of bring some of your DTOF stuff to life. They're great for that too. But for toy photography, man, I mean this is killer. So good. Well, that is it. That is everything that we had. Ryan, I really appreciate you popping on and taking a look at this stuff with us. Any other kind of tips that you'd have out there for folks that are either just getting into this, or maybe they've done some photos, they're not really happy with it? Like just any kind of encouragement that you would have for folks.
Yes. So if you're thinking about getting into photography, just watch some YouTube videos, but do not compare your stuff to other artists who have been doing this for years, and I've heard this and I try to live by this: comparison is a thief of joy. Take that first shot. Who cares if it's cringe? You can only go up from there. And reach out to other photographers. I'm sure they will have absolutely no problem helping out.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, you can check out Ryan's stuff at Toygoofingonz on Instagram. He also posts in the Cabal, and you can see him on most Saturdays on the Hedgehog Action YouTube channel for Saturday Day Live, and occasionally on Offworld when he decides to join us if he's not working. So, but yeah, I appreciate you being on, Ryan. I'm going to put you backstage. If you've got to run, I totally understand that. If not, hang out, and I will be right with you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right, folks, that is another How They Do That with another amazing, talented person. Really appreciate Ryan being on. A lot of great points there. We're in a community for a reason. Don't feel like you have to do this on your own. Reach out to folks, ask them questions. Like there's so many people in this community that are willing to, share tips with you, to give you advice on whether it's a shot, a custom paint job, whatever. Don't feel like you got to figure it all out on your own. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You hit YouTube University up, right? Like there's so much stuff that you can learn, so many different things that you can pick up by just watching a YouTube video. That's what we're trying to do here. So hopefully some of this stuff helped you and you're able to, either get started on some toy photography or continue some toy photography. If any of this kind of helped you and you're able to, come up with something on your own, you throw a picture on Instagram or the Cabal, make sure to tag Ryan and tag myself, because we'd like to see what you come up with. So thank you very, very much for watching. If you like these How They Do That videos, there is a playlist on the channel that has all of those. I know I put out a lot of content. I don't expect everybody to, watch all of it or even like all of it. So you may find a segment that you like. I've got the exploded figure reviews. I've got the, travel toy videos, different tips and tricks on painting and stuff. And then these How They Do That. So, if there's a certain playlist that you like, you can go to it and see all of those videos. And occasionally we'll have stuff in the description. Like if we talk about a certain accessory or something like that, we'll have some of that stuff in the description to where you can click on it and go and get that stuff. So yeah, once again, hope that you enjoyed this. Can't wait to see what you come up with. And until next time, folks, keep creating.